Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm your band guy, Colin, and today I want to share with you a quick trick to just make your vocals sound more professional. This is super easy to do. I do it on nearly every vocal that I mix, and you can do it in seconds. So the effect I'm talking about is something called a slapback delay. This is just a really fast delay on your lead vocal that kind of just warms it up, fills it out. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So on our lead vocal here, we do have a little bit of a master echo and a little bit of master reverb, but that's not the effect we're talking about here. The effect we're talking about here is this slapback delay, and I've done it on a separate track so I have total control over it, and I've used exactly the same lead vocal track. I've just duplicated it and set a stereo delay at the end of this channel. So now I have a stereo delay that is creating this effect. Listen to this vocal with and without this slapback delay on.
I was nobody's brilliant child, but I'm the oldest living son, and I've got such an honest smile that you'll forgive me when I'm done. And if I'm gone again a while, don't think me unkind, 'cause there's a million things I wanted to tell you.
It's kind of crazy, right? Like just that one thing, as soon as it goes away, the vocal sounds kind of lonely. I don't know, that's my favorite way to describe it. It sounds like it's really, really sparse. And on some mixes, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. But especially if you have a pretty full mix or you want your vocal to have a really, really full sound, this effect can be exactly the right thing for you. So again, the way we've created this is we've duplicated the lead vocal track, and you can do this by either option clicking and dragging the track down. That's going to copy both the track itself and the actual audio file, or you can hit Command D, and that's going to create a duplicate of the track, which will have all the same processing, but then it won't have the audio file, so then you can option click and drag the audio file down. Either way, and once you do that, you want to turn off your other effects. So we have the EQ and compression on here because we want it to still have that same EQ and compression, but then we turn off the master echo and the master reverb and add on the stereo delay plugin. So this vocal slapback effect sounds like this on its own.
I was nobody's brilliant child, but I'm the oldest living son. And I've got some.
It's nothing crazy. It kind of has a bit of a telephone effect to that, and we've done that inside the actual delay plugin itself. So this is just the stereo delay plugin. If you go down to your delays, it's a stereo delay plugin here. And what we've done is we've selected the fastest possible delay times on the left and the right side. This is a stereo delay, so it has a slightly different delay for the left ear and for the right ear. And let's go ahead and take a look at all these settings here so you can recreate this exactly if you want to. What I've done is I've set the fastest possible time, but then I've done the deviation for the left and right slightly differently. So that way there's a little bit of timing difference between the left and the right ear. A slapback delay is typically a really, really fast delay that just kind of slaps back. It's kind of like the sound bounces off a wall and comes right back. And so when you listen to this with the lead vocal,
I was nobody's brilliant child.
It has a really, really fast response relative to the lead vocal. So if I bring up the volume of this,
I was nobody's brilliant child, but I'm the oldest living son.
it just kind of fills up the left and right space around this lead vocal, puts it kind of in a room effect almost. Then we left the feedback where it was. It's at 35%. That's fine in this case. Sometimes you don't want to have any feedback. Sometimes a shorter feedback, 35%, 10% works just fine. And then the really key part here is for the left and right mix, we've scaled them up to 100%. That is saying that this track is only the delay. There is no original signal on this track. So if we were to scale this back, you would get a blend of the lead vocal with the delayed effect. We want just the delayed effect. And then the other key thing that we've set here is that we have filtered it a little bit. So we have a high cut left and a low cut left, and then we have a high cut right and a low cut right. A high cut is the same thing as if we come in here on our EQ, it's the same thing as this, just taking this down and cutting out some of those frequencies of the high frequencies in your vocal track. So if we go into the stereo delay, we've brought the high cut down to about 5,800 on the left ear, and a little bit higher on the right ear, so it's a little bit less filtered on the right ear. We've brought the low cut up. Again, in this case, it's up to 870 hertz. That's the same as taking this filter all the way up to 870 hertz up here. So very, very similar on both the left and the right ear. If you look at that here, we have 870 and 730. So they're a little bit different in how they sound in the left and the right ear, but both of them are fairly filtered. And that gives it this kind of filtered sound that sounds like a room sound almost. And you mix that in with the lead vocal.
That you'll forgive me when I'm done.
It just kind of warms up the lead vocal sound. Super easy to set up, but you add it into your mix.
I was nobody's brilliant child.
Take it away.
But I'm the oldest living
Lonely vocal. Bring it back.
And I've got such an honest smile that you'll forgive me.
Now, there's a few variations that you could do of this. One, you could bring it up and have it as more of an effect. So if we listen to it again, we can bring up the volume. A little bit more of an effect at that point. If we have it down lower, it's just kind of a tucked effect surrounding the vocal as opposed to a lead effect on the vocal, if you will. A second way that we could do this that's a little bit different is we could actually set these identical. So I could bring the left here or the right here to match the left, so they're both at -18. And then now, instead of there being slight variation between the left and the right, what we would get is just the same thing in the left and the right ear. And then that mixed in with the lead vocal just doesn't have that same width to it, doesn't have the variation between the left and the right. And that can be really cool. For some songs that's more of a part, it can really sound awesome. But if you're just starting out, I would say try out those settings that we originally had on here. Somewhere around here where we just have slight variation between the left and the right ear with the deviation, that will create a bit of a left and right effect. And then make sure your mix is set 100% on both the left and the right ear. And then just set your low cut and high cut to kind of filter out the sound until you have a bit of that telephony effect. And that's really going to warm up the vocals and add a lot of the intelligibility, if you will, the parts of the vocals that enhance how well we can understand what the singer is saying. That's going to help highlight those even more, because those frequencies, that telephone effect frequencies, those are the frequencies where we really understand what somebody is saying usually really, really well. So if we highlight them with this effect, the lead vocal can still sound more natural, but we are kind of boosting those frequencies around the lead vocal. So try it out and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Or if you already do this, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Now, before you go, I want to give you something to help you get a more professional sounding mix inside GarageBand completely free. This effect will help you get a more professional sounding vocal, but at the end of the day, this is only one very, very small piece of mixing. There are 6 steps that all professional mixes have. So I've put together a free 6-step checklist that just walks through the 6 steps that all professional mixes have and how you can do them inside GarageBand completely free. So be sure to grab that from the link in the description below. If this video is helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with another video.
One thing at a time, I can